Hi everyone, I'm actually casting a replay here, Stand10. Well, not Stand10 anymore since the replay sharing system is right now available. This replay is currently hosted by my friend Wargwolf here, who's actually in this game right now, so say hi to everyone. By everyone, I mean my two fans. So, by the looks of this map, it seems like this is going to be the garbage game, and the decals. And I know absolutely nothing about the garbage game, so this will be fun. And we do have two of the bugs here. We don't have any Jors or any of the Firstborn. Over here we can see production tab shows drones on both sides, pretty typical. We are really early in the game. This map, I absolutely have no idea what it is because I don't play the garbage game. The only thing I'm going to comment is that these gas geysers look really cool, and there's a really shiny fire in the middle. That's about all the interesting things I can say about this map. Spawning on top right, we have our red Zerg player Wargwolf, and spawning on the bottom left corner we have Crackling. Something tells me that I forgot to bring up the names. Yeah, so something tells me this guy is going to go for Zerglings, and then he's going to transition into Zerglings, and then he's going to get the Crackling upgrade, and he's going to build more Zerglings. I don't know what gave me that idea, but it's just... I had to drink some water there because I like water. And it seems like our red player is going for pool first, whereas our blue player is going for a hatch first. I personally prefer the hatch first build against Zerg. It's telling me to take a look at the APM tab. Yes, because our red player needs 200 APM to make stuff. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I do prefer to hatch first over the pool first, just because the lings, by the time they get there, it won't really make a difference. I mean, yeah, it'll be a couple of spamming the wall text on a cast. But yeah, just because by the time the ling gets there, you'll probably have a queen and a few lings of your own. So you won't really need to get the pool first, although the pool first does prevent a block. I usually like to go for 15 hatch, 15 pool, 17 gas, just because the gas times up really nicely at 26 overlord, 26 speedlings. I don't know why our red player is getting really ballsy getting this early third here. Usually Zergs don't do that just because the link garbage at the beginning of the game, although I don't know if that link garbage is still there in the garbage game. It shouldn't change because there's no changes to the Zerg race from the actual playable game to the garbage game. I mean, there's Swarm Hosts and Vipers, but all of those came in later on. But yeah, I usually do the hatch first, and then I try to defend with the queen and the lings. It's really important to make sure, because you know when you get to 17 supply, if you're doing the gas, you can add one extra unit before your queens come out, before your hatch is finished. Usually I like to put that as a ling, and I make a ling right away. That'll help defend against the other lings. A red player just pulling some drones here to deal with this one Zergling. Really shouldn't chase this that much. It seems like the spine crawler is going down here for a red player. I really think that the spine crawler should come later. If it just let the ling attack the spine here, then when the queen comes out, it should clean that up and cancel it and rebuild the spine for basically no extra cost. Usually my spine and my banging fest, I recommend them coming out at the same time. Although I can't really make any recommendations to terrible at this garbage game. I mean, terrible at the normal game. Just more terrible at the garbage game. Anyways, seems like tech choice for our blue player is absolutely nothing, whereas our red player is still, right now he has the Rotron, so I'm thinking this might be a variation of the Destiny garbage, although Destiny isn't garbage. He's everything but garbage. Well, no, I guess he's decent. But Destiny all-in doesn't really do as many things, and a red player, he shouldn't be prepared for a 2-base timing attack on 3 bases, but again, I think our red player is in Bronze League. But yeah, judging by the lack of creep connecting the bases, I would usually, I usually put a tumor down here with the first queen to cover my whole base and creep, and the second will just expand the creep outwards. Seems like a lot of speedlings. This is the kind of garbage I'm talking about. I do not. This is why Zerg don't expand, and this is usually the garbage that makes me hate ZvZ. This base is probably gone now, and this is why I usually get banelings. The spines don't usually help. Usually I put one spine here and one spine here, and if I see lots of aggression, or when I scout I see a large number of lings like this guy had, then I would put on extra spines in the natural and make banelings. But yeah, usually banelings do a good job defending against any amount of ling aggression. It puts the effort on the attacking player's side. If they don't deal damage, you basically waste a bunch of resource on things instead of drones. And if they do damage, it'll be a lot of ling micro, which will be taxing the players out of this league. And I would say anything below high platinum and low diamond. It'll be very, very heavy on the APM, and they'll probably mess up their build and build up 1,000 minerals or 2,000 minerals. So I like to do that, and then if I see a lot of early aggression from Zerg player and ZvZ, I just like throwing down a double gas here and going for Mutalisks. Infestation Pit is okay, I guess. I don't know about in this garbage game because the Infestor got a pretty big nerf. And our red player is expanding again. It's a really, really good idea to go for macro plays in low league. It helps you to play better. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and cheese your way or do silly one-base timings to get a few wins if you're getting frustrated, because if you're getting frustrated, it's more important in low leagues to keep your interest in the game. But we do still have a lot of roaches here coming from our blue player. Our red player is really not prepared for this at all. We do have infestors coming out, but lings are not good against roaches by any definition of the word. The third base they get cancelled here. That's a very good choice. I think our red player should either get ling speed and mute us, or get some roaches of his own. Because circling infestor is a really good composition. Now we do have a few spines on the way, which means that our red player should be able to hold this if nothing else happens. There's some pretty good fungo right now. Our blue player is using burrow to the best of his abilities. Usually this is not a great upgrade, but at this point I guess it is. We'd have more infestors down for our... Well, that was a missed fungal, but that's okay. Burrow does help here, I guess, but I guess in the higher leagues it's just too much going on for Burrow to be effective. I think at this situation the best thing to do would be to try and fungal the roaches down where the spine crawlers could attack them, because otherwise it's just going to burrow like this again. It's kind of it's a cute thing to do. It's just it's more cute than effective. That's what I'm going to say. Red player really should be throwing out his Roach Warren anytime soon. He's apparently going for a high tech, and there's a Roach Warren coming down. Our blue player is actually not making use of this advantage he's gaining from pushing back our red player. He is getting a lot of zerglings. That shows a shit ton of zerglings in production. Our blue player decides to not tech up by getting the extra gas geysers. Both players banking a lot of resources. This is what really happens in lower leagues. Just the combat seemed to draw the attention of every single player, and they forgot to do everything else. Anyways, I would like to see some banelings from this, because, well, watching the replay makes me want to see some banelings, but I guess when you're playing you can't really tell if you should make banelings or expensive to roaches or what. So this is a lot of spines, so I should be able to handle this. Drones are being pushed, forced off the line here. Forcing the roaches back in. I don't know why our blue player isn't making any more roaches. Right now he's deciding to get an expansion. This spine crawler with 1 health is still managing to poke away at the roaches. Now the roaches here are getting whittled down slowly. The infestors don't have burrow yet. These lings should be able to clean up the roaches out of the burrows again. I'd like to see an overseer out of our red player at this point, just because the roaches are being so annoying. Usually burrow is a really big investment. Well, I don't know about the garbage game. How much does it cost? Well, they didn't lower the cost, they lowered it to hatchery tech. So now we have our hive tech on the way. I heard Ultralisks are really good in the garbage game. Ultralisks is usually the composition I go in when I play with the garbage game. I go Queen Ultras. When Spanetian Wa used to bring Queens as his late game army as a transfuse to keep things alive, I bring things for the same effect, plus I need some anti-air. So pure Ultralisk and pure Queens, that's the composition of choice for me. We have more roaches on the way for our blue player with no upgrades. No upgrades out of our red player yet still. Either. We do have a Spore Crawler now for detection instead of an Overseer, which I don't know why, since neither roaches nor lings can attack air. And lings are definitely not good against roaches. So there's something really wrong with the unit composition here. How are these lings winning these battles? I guess there's just enough of them around. I mean, this is quite a number of roaches coming out. Production shows 3 Ultralisks on the way. Ultralisks are equally effective in this game and in non-garbage game because, well, in this matchup, because roaches are armored and they only got a buff against non-armored units. We do have a base advantage for our blue player here. Production, units. We do see a drone advantage for our red player. 32 drones is not even enough to saturate 2 bases. I don't know what's wrong with our blue player. Still making use of Burrow for whatever reason. Burrow's a really shitty upgrade, we should never get it. Unless we're in Infestor. So really at this point, our red player needs Burrow more than our blue player. So really cancel that. See a lot of Lings coming on. So Ling Ultra is a very good composition. It used to be the composition for Brood War. But now I guess it's making a comeback with the Ultra's boosted damage against light units, making it more viable against Marine compositions. I remember one game where I made Ultras against Marines and lost. Should have made Baneling instead. It's garbage. We do have a good Overlord spread from our red player. That's really something that I should personally be working on, but I think at lower leagues these Overlords are more of a liability than a asset. Just because they get killed and you get supply blocked, it's really more than usual. We should really be getting a kindness plating, although that's debatable from the massive amount of roaches which turn into lings apparently. That is a unit's tap. We do have 49 lings, because when you see lings, which is countered by Ultralisks now due to the 35 damage. I thought it was 15 or 25 versus armored. So I guess they got a really big buff. So now they'll eat lings all day, and the counter to them is apparently lings. I don't expect any amount of thinking coming out of our lower leagues. We see a lot of Spore Crawler thrown down around all the bases of our blue player to prevent the Overseer from scouting that he switched to Zerglings, because the Ultralisks, he would definitely make more Ultras if he sees all the Zerglings, because Ultras counter Zerglings, but he's making Ultras because he decided to make Ultras in the first place. And we also see the Spore Crawlers to prevent the Overlord harassment, because that is clearly the only area units going on around here. We do have 2 macro hatches going on for our red player. This is good for lower leagues, I would say, because when your macro is bad and your injects are bad, the solution is not to work on your macro, but to build more macro hatches. These lings are going to hate life because all the ultras sort of camped here, and they're not getting out of this. There's not even any need for fungal, just ultras are just going to... Do they have enough to one-hit lings? Damage 35. Do we have a... No, we don't have +1 weapons. I think with the +1 weapons, you'll be able to one-hit all the lings, no matter the armor upgrade. Which makes Ultras really OP. I'm pretty sure they did 25 versus armored and 15 versus light in the original game. Maybe it's 25 or maybe plus 25 versus armored. I forgot. I don't make Ultras in the original game because it's such a piece of shit. I think the only reason anyone will ever make Ultras, well, the pro players know what they're doing, but the only reason I would be making any Ultras is if I make Broodlords and there's a billion Vikings flying around. Production tab shows flying crawlers and a bunch of drones. So basically, all the Ultras are gonna eat up everything because that's a really terrible time to drone up. All this larva control is really spent on mutas? Mutas? Yeah, mutas. So the mutas are gonna be able to get owned by the investors, or I would say they would get owned by the Well, the turrets are, the spore crawlers are doing their job killing the overseers, preventing them the scouting of the non-existent tech. With immune regen, I think they should be able to tank the infestors a bit, but I wouldn't say they should be able to tank the infestors too long. Especially with the automatic spreading of the mutas. These mutas, the chitinous plating is up, so there should be a lot of dead ultras. Or more than usual, because, well no, because he's got no armor upgrade, that's why you're going to see more dead ultras than usual, but less than before, when he didn't have the chitinous plating. But apparently the mutas decides to tank the infestor terrain, which is a terrible idea. No mutas started here? Why? You got minerals, oh, you're Spire not taking them, okay. Well, at least in lower leagues there are players on mana, unlike me, who says nothing and just plays games. And it looks like the end of the game. And everyone left, and apparently I'm the host now. Hey!